Hello everyone, my name is Danny. This review is for the movie called Dragged Across Concrete. This is a 2018 film. It was released in March of 2019, I'll talk about that in a second. This is rated R, runs 2 hours and 40 minutes, and it stars Mel Gibson, Vince Vaughn, and Tori Kittles, among others. Pretty good cast. This description: once two overzealous cops get suspended from the force, they must delve into the criminal underworld to get their proper compensation. This is Dragged Across Concrete. Well, thank you everybody for watching this video. Like I said, it's a 2018 film that was released in 2019. I heard about this from certain popular YouTubers that I don't follow anymore because they're not putting out any new content, and I am. Yeah, really, some certain people that shall not be named thought this was one of the best movies of 2019 when they saw it, when it got released. So we're going to consider this a 2019 film, but it was released in 2018. Here I am seeing it halfway through 2020. So with the expectations that came with this movie and with the hype that was built around it, with the cast that was named to be in it, I just was like thinking it was going to be something, and I was disappointed. So I wish that I wasn't so disappointed with it, but honestly, this movie is really boring. And I think that a lot of people online sort of agree with me, because the grade I would give is pretty close to what it is online. So there's obviously people that have a lower one to, balance out the higher grades. And so I think I'm about right there with the online people. I think the boredom of this movie is the worst thing of the movie, because it does have some good action. Obviously the cast is good. It centers around Vince and Mel, and it starts off with a certain guy that is getting out of jail, and the time that it takes for them to get back to him is kind of astonishing, because I didn't even know it was him until a little while after they started introducing him back into the movie. So I don't like that strategy. And then they gave a couple other people their 15 minutes on screen, their 15 minutes of fame, and I don't feel like I needed their storylines because of what happens to them. And then a couple other people get centered on, and I just feel like that's for a minute of laughter or just something else to shock you. And this movie does shock you. It does make you laugh a little bit. Mel and Vince really do balance well off of each other as cops, and discussing pretty much anything, and having a code of talking and stuff. So I think where this movie starts to hurt itself is by just laying everything out there for you. This is the only thing that Mel and Vince can do after their very real world situation of being over assertive on an arrest, which speaks to how things are today and how crazy people can get from that. This is the only path that they can take. And honestly, I was sitting there watching this movie, and when Mel gets given another option, it's like, dude, just take that option, So I don't really understand why, for theatrical purposes, he takes the route he does, and that Vince just kind of accepts it, because they get given so many options to ditch out of this thing, and I just don't know why it ends up going the way it does. So, pretty brutal violence, I would say. That's recommended. And good acting, I guess, even though it's boring. And the movie's just way too long, focusing on some other characters. Pretty predictable end, but it still throws you a couple surprises, but not enough. I just don't think that what this movie thought it was, because of who it has in it and its kind of unique idea, I kind of felt like they were kind of high and mighty on their platform, saying, "Oh, we don't need to do anything else. You know, look at our movie. Our movie's great." And I just don't feel like they felt like they had to work to gain our appreciation in this movie. And that's why I kind of got more and more bored with it as it went. So I'm going to give Dragged Across Concrete a C. I don't tend to like to recommend movies like this, but it has the actors, it has the story, it has the action. You know, it's kind of shocking, it's kind of surprising at the end, but I just felt like people were very lazy in this, and I think that they could have tried harder. I think they could have acted harder. I think they could have talked out the situation a little bit more common sensely. I think that, Mel's character talks about being such a great cop and it being all for naught. Well, show us that. Show us that you know how to be a good cop, because all we see is you being a bad cop. You know, all we see is the drained out, too old, past his prime cop. So I just don't understand where the thinking was making this movie the way they did. And so I think the way they did was them settling, and so that caused me to be bored, and that causes me to give Dragged Across Concrete a C. Thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and get some of them to watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. Enjoy movies. Thanks.